Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to Getting More Out of Ferdinand. So, joining me once again today is Eric, and we're going to be going over assault number 10. Now, number 10 kind of takes a random departure away from what we were kind of building up to. So last week, we talked about our first traversal action. This one, we're kind of just going almost the exact opposite. Now, the exact wording is, you're on guard on the outside, the adversary feints to the inside, feints to the outside, and then throws to the inside. Now, this is a multi-stage feint, which we have done before, but it has always been on at least 3 lines. For this, for sake of training, what I like to do here is, this is very good for working against people who fight out of the medium guard. Not necessarily exclusively, but the sort of medium blitz, as we have come to call it. So once I get my gloves on, I'll go ahead and show that. But the idea is basically, from standing in a medium position and using more regimental style footwork, you gain the ability to move very quickly, forward and back on the line, lots of very good linear footwork, and you have that lunge ready to spring. You also get the ability to direct my attack across a couple different lines with just minor turns of your hand, which can be very, very good for parceling out somebody who is a little bit too eager to follow your blade. Let's see if I can get this glove on. There we go, new gloves, wonderful time. Now, what does that look like? So, what's going to happen is, in this case, I will be the one doing the medium blitz. So what I do is I stand in the medium guard as Eric there takes the outside guard. With each of my attacks, and this, mind you, this is the way that we are drilling it, but on pure paper he does not describe this, but as I do my small advance, I will incline my blade to the inside line, so that he believes that is going to be a cut. If he doesn't bite on just that, I can also extend my point slightly to get him moving. I will then turn my tip to the other side as I do another advance, which gets him to make the wider parry, before finally throwing to the inside of the face with my lunge. Now, stagnant, this looks like I get way, way closer to him, but if we start a little bit further out and he is retreating with his cuts, go ahead and come a bit closer. This is kind of how it starts looking, which is much, much scarier, since I'm essentially gaining distance, getting him to open up before I fire out that big lunge. Against someone who is a regimental style fighter, and a good one, they have the capability of hitting from quite far away with either a thrust or with a cut. As such, this kind of, medium blitz can be very, very useful for us to use, hence why I like to kind of bring this up for this lesson. So, twitch, twitch, lunge. And that's rather hard to deal with, because you're being open, 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 and you could also stack this onto itself. So, how do we deal with it? So without a whole lot of movement, I'm in the outside guard, he twitches inside, I move, he twitches outside, I move, he throws that inside. Again, I want to go ahead and maintain my distance. Now, if you've done some Angelo, you may be inclined to shift here. That's absolutely fine. Ferdinand does not describe a shift though. So I keep my good distance and I parry with the inside guard. Immediately following this, we're going to move into the whirl, which we've actually covered a little bit before. So I'm going to incline my blade over his to get that nice expulsion across as I whirl into a hanger. Now, it describes him whirling into a hanger. It should be noted that the counter to escaping this is turning your wrist upward so that you're able to cut. Essentially, I'm putting him in the same position that I'm going into, but whereas I am here, he is on his inside. So, let's go over that again. I'm in the outside, twitch number 1, twitch number 2, parry, then whirl. Then all I'm going to do is throw a cut to the outside of his head. This actually sets itself up very, very nicely, the same as the whirl does, wherein we'll just go ahead and have the parry on the inside, right? When I push forward, as long as my blade is going out, I get kind of a counteraction from when his momentum, let me try again. When his sword gains my momentum, mine sort of terminates in this outside half circle, and then I can just bop back in for a cut to the outside of his face. So essentially all this play devolves down to is keep your distance, here comes the big attack. When he finishes it, he will be quite extended and exposed. Whirl, hit him. Now it should be noted, if you're fighting someone who's quick on the recovery, so rather than big long attack and then they recover, there's someone who's a little bit more reserved or quick, you won't have time to do the whirl. But you will have time to follow through with whatever you want. This is someone that's really trying to get you. So we'll start a little bit further back, and we'll have Eric do the full advance, followed by the whirl. So, twitch, twitch, parry, whirl, cut. We'll do that again. Twitch, twitch, parry, whirl, cut. Now, this time I'll do it with a shift rather than a retreat. Twitch, twitch, shift, whirl, cut. That can be quite nice if you find he is gaining too close to you, and I don't have the capability of leaping back out of distance. The quick shift brings my body back, without me having to incline my arm, which gives me a nice, strong whirl. We'll show that one more time, kind of slowish. So, twitch, twitch, shift, whirl, cut. But otherwise, thank you very much, Eric. That will be assault number 10. Nothing too crazy complicated, just a little bit of additive to things we already know, and also a little bit of fun kind of, multiverse, as it were, shared cinematic universe with Angelo, which there is the working theory that Ferdinand and Angelo work together, as we do have some possible evidence of that. So it's not uncommon that perhaps these common techniques would be shared. Now, we don't know whether or not Ferdinand wants that to be against a regimental fighter or what have you. That's all my tinfoil hat theory. But if someone's fainting that much on you, and they're ending up in a pretty extended position that you can whirl them, odds are they are probably fighting like this. And at the very least, if they weren't, these days you will encounter that. But otherwise, thank you very, very much for watching. We'll go over some other techniques another time.